night watch. So we kind of just hang out right next to the companionway. We can look straight up and see the top of the mast and where the wind's coming from. And our charts are right here. Not that we use them a whole lot on this long passage. We're more just looking at our compass bearing and our heading and following the wind. It's quite a rolly night. But yeah, it's pretty cozy to just chill here. We are doing 4-hour shifts through the night, 2 4-hour shifts each, which really it ends up just feeling like one, because like for me the 6 to 10 p.m. shift doesn't really feel that late, and then Mick does the 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. shift, and by then he's ready to get up. So actually 4 hours is like our sweet spot. It's perfect. During the day, Mick is mostly on watch because it just works better for us. There's only 2 of us. We're still doing school with the kids. So I end up doing school and cooking 3 meals a day and that kind of stuff. And then I just relieve Mick for a few hours so he can rest in the afternoon. How was your night?
What a great move that was. We headed directly for the Marquesas last night at a good clip. Wind and waves behind us, and now we've adjusted sails and we're heading in more of a westerly direction again.
And here is your breakfast.
Thanks.
It's a cinnamon apple breakfast bread topped with coconut yogurt and sliced kiwi.
Wow. You got any wise words?
Not really. Oh, I have something exciting that I'm already looking forward to. Tomorrow is day 11. I like milestones. And we should hit 1,000 nautical miles tomorrow.
Woo!
We're estimating that it'll take about 3,000 nautical miles to get to Hiva-Oa. So that means we are 1/3 of the way across in 11 days of traveling. Those are not great stats.
You say day 11 and 1,000, so that's averaging under 100 a day? Oh
well,
my.
We normally hit our 100 mark like as it turns to that day.
Gotcha.
Right? So like at the end of day 10, at the end of today, we'll be at 1,000 miles.
Gotcha. And apart from the doldrums, I would say we have now traveled through the lightest of the winds we'll see. Is that correct?
Oh gosh, I hope so. It is the end of day 10. It really feels like all of a sudden we have hit the trade winds. The clouds have finally cleared. We've had 3-4 days of cloud and it feels so good. We're just cooking up a really simple dinner tonight. Some chicken Alfredo. Pretty sure you've seen us eat this before on passage. But check it out. It's just awesome out here.
As Kate was just saying, it's sure been very consistent all day. We're flying along. The last few hours we've been doing between 6 and 7 knots. And the forecast looks really good for the coming days. Similar conditions, sort of 10 to 18 knots of wind. We're on a broad reach right now. We have the jib out on the pole, which is working really well. In these rolly seas, it's not losing its wind, it's staying full. And then we just have the storm jib up. Not because it's stormy, but just because it fills that little slot and it's an extra tiny bit of sail, which is great.
Man, that scared him. Uh-oh. Hey. No.
We have some valuable equipment up on the top of our mast, and I do not want that broken because I'm not going up there.
They can land on the pulpit, but not on the top of the mast. As the sun gets low in the sky, we reef our main for the night. This slows us down a little, but makes our life a lot easier if there are any squalls or the wind picks up through the night. We try to avoid going out on deck in the dark when we can. Good morning. Oh, they're so small.
I know, we have tiny ones that land on top.
What are you hunting, Bentley?
That's the only two. They're right next to each other.
They're really small, aren't they?
Yeah, these are the ones I find most of the time.
I am a dad.
Good morning, it's day 11. Last night around 8 o'clock, we hit 1,000 nautical miles. Woo!
Woohoo!
Very exciting. That means we are 1/3 of the way there, approximately. The problem we are trying to figure out today, we are having issues with our VHF. We've actually had a surprising amount of ship traffic around us now and then, more than I would have imagined. We had a fishing boat really close to us, I don't know, what was that, 5 days ago or something, late at night, and we were hailing him because he was heading straight for us. Couldn't get him, so we thought he just was not monitoring his VHF. Then about 2 days later, we had a cargo ship coming right at us, and we were hailing him, and he wasn't responding. He was only 5 miles away from us, and they're pretty good about responding, so that was weird. Then we used our handheld radio and he responded right away, which made us realize we are definitely having an issue with our VHF. And we've also diagnosed that low power is working fine, but high power transmits for like a second and then cuts out. Mick is gonna trace the power today because maybe there's a breaker tripping or something is not allowing that high power energy to come through.
Yeah, when we put the new radio in when we got the boat, I didn't like run a new wire. I just grabbed the wire that was for the existing radio and just spliced into that and plugged it in, but I'm not sure exactly where that wire goes. So I'll move a bunch of stuff and dig into and see where that goes.
Cool, man.
Wires connecting the VHF, they go to like another funny little bus bar which is powered from a little fuse box I put in. So power's running from the batteries to that fuse box, and then power's running from that fuse box to that little bus bar, and then the VHF power is coming off that little bus bar. So I think I'm going to eliminate the backwards and forwards, and we've got toggle switches here with one free, and I'm going to run a new wire straight from the fuse box to the radio. So it's going to be there's a lot of stuff on this, so I still don't know if it's going to get the power at once.
Oh.
The fridge is on here, the freezer's on here, that like every charge source, every light is on here. Well, it's either that or I don't really have anywhere else for it to go, so I'm just going to put it on there.
Okay, well.
Maybe I need a new bus bar straight off the batteries for some other stuff.
Okay, so what we were finding before and how we diagnosed is back here, this light next to the power light was not lighting up on high power. Well, it would for a moment and then it would shut off. So let's see. Atmospheric, atmospheric, atmospheric. This is Meraki, Meraki, Meraki. That was really good. Did you see that light?
Meraki, Meraki, this is
Woohoo! I think we solved our power problem, but we're probably still a little ways away from you guys.
It's working.
It's better. We're still really far from them, but we're getting a solid reading there now.
Meraki, if you can hear me, let's try 16 because it's the strongest channel. There's no one else here we can chat on there. If you can hear me, switch to 16. Atmospheric on 16, you there, Meraki?
Hi, Atmospheric. This is Meraki on 16. Do you copy? Well, it's better. Good job. At least they could hear us.
Ship Chief Meraki, I'm just fiddling with my squelch to see if I can get you better.
Atmospheric, this is Meraki. Do you copy?
Oh yes, that's right. Much better.
Yay! Woohoo! Oh goodness, we rewired our entire radio. It was definitely a power issue, so I'm glad we're back up and running.
Okay, I didn't catch all of it, but I got something about rewiring, so woohoo, it worked. Good job, Mick.
We're doing a sail change for something different, and we noticed one of these slugs broke. So normally it has an arm like that that attaches to the mainsail, and you can see the slug stuck in there, but the little arms are broken. Broken piece on the sail is over here on the other side. So that'll be a sewing project. We'll have to cut it off and then find more of this webbing. I have black, I don't have white though. Inspect your rig every day when you are on long passage and look for breakage. We're doing it up here without life jackets and anything. We're being very safe. I don't feel like doing it today.
No,
it's like 2 o'clock, isn't it?
Too risky for the rest of the day.
It's kind of the end of the day.
Good old highs and lows of being out here, hey? After days of struggling to go in the direction we wanted to go, finally found a sail combination that allows us to do that. The swell behind isn't big, but it's kind of short and steep, and it's enough to kick the boat around. So the butt end of the boat, the stern goes, and then it lulls, and then it has to steer back. And the autopilot was working a lot, and I kept adjusting it down and down. There's a sea state setting, so if the seas are bad, so it's not constantly going ream, 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 and turning, you can turn that down. So I've been trying to find a balance, and that balance was still working it too hard, and it just quit. Super bummer. I think it's the same problem. The chain is still attached, the pin is broken, so I have to take the whole motor out, open the motor up, replace the pin. I've done it 3 or 4 times over the last...
But not since we've been in Mexico, have we?
No, it's lasted a really long time. Yeah. We've been using Buddy, our Autopilot wind vane. You can see his little paddle in the background there, swaying back and forwards. So he steers off the wind. So if the wind changes, we have to change him to stay on course. But he doesn't use any power, and it's just a really economical, strong way to steer the boat.
When the trade winds picked up, we should have been quicker about switching from our electric autopilot over to our wind vane. But we hesitated in setting it up, and our ancient autopilot couldn't handle the bigger seas and bit the dust.
Thanks for nachos, Mama.
You're welcome, bud. Did you enjoy them?
Yeah.
Good.
Yummy, yummy.
Nacho Saturday.
Great with Mama Delou.
Sunset.
Holy crikey.
Ridiculous tonight.
Tiny one.
Yeah. Tiny one there.
They still have their eyeballs.
Whoa! It's huge. That's gotta. Whoa! It's huge. That's gotta be a record. Is he hard?
Yeah.
Oh, look at his little wings. Oh, poor guy. Wow! Wow, it's so pretty. Poor things. Crazy. Good morning and welcome to day 12. First thing this morning, we hit our 1,200 nautical mile mark, which was very exciting. We've normally been hitting that at the end of each day. So that just means we are finally catching up on our miles a little bit after those slow days, which feels really good. We're still running dead downwind with our double head sails both pulled out. And apparently, according to Navionics, we're gonna be in Hivaoa in 13 days. It's very unlikely that doesn't include us being stuck in the doldrums. So who knows? But I think it's a good estimate. We probably need to add like 2 to 5 days onto that. But it's exciting and it just feels really good to be heading right where we want to go. It is roly-poly, and we do need to get our autopilot out and start the repair on that. And I need to get a sewing project done on the main. That slug that broke. Kind of hoping it'd be calmer today. Get those things done. So we'll see how we do with that. Our fruit nets are starting to get pretty empty. It's a bright light on there. Just a few oranges in that one. One little sad cantaloupe over here. I'm kind of holding on to it for as long as possible. And we cut up our last pineapple today. It was so ripe. Should we get on some of our projects, or are we feeling like it's too early?
I'd like to just get it out,
Yeah.
and then I can work on it whenever I want.
Okay.
So stage 1. We'll have
The
to,
autopilot you're talking about.
yes, the autopilot. We'll have to disconnect the wind vane because the lines run over the back hatch where that autopilot unit is. So I'll have to disconnect the wind vane. Someone's going to have to hand steer for however long it takes me to empty that locker out, and then disassemble the autopilot drive unit to get that out.
Let's hope it's the same problem we've been having, hey? What was that?
Go, pull it.
Mick, I have to turn to starboard.
Okay, it's off.
It's off?
Yeah.
You did it?
Well, the chain and sprocket is off.
Okay.
So that was the part that the chain was connected around, and then that other little sprocket was on this. So whenever the wheel turned, this turned as well, but there was Allen keys in here I had to loosen up, and they kept shifting. So that's off now. It's unplugged. So I just have to get 1, 2, 3 bolts and the thing comes out, and that's it.
Woohoo! Nice work. Bentley, you were a fantastic helper. Thank you. Did a bit of steering, did a bit of filming. Excellent helping.
Pins are in this part here, but all of this has to come off. Everything. The motor's fine.
Maybe another.
How's your watch going, Bentley? Yeah, dude. The good news is we don't need this autopilot, but it sure is handy. And we can't afford to replace it.
Just this unit was what, 2,000 US?
Yeah. When we're done with it, I think we should donate it to a museum.
There she be, part of it. That's it, that's what broke.
Crazy. Is that where the pin goes?
Yeah, should go all the way through. But it does not. So this will just pop out, and that's that.
Yay! I'm very relieved it was the same problem.
Is there a longer one in the bag? So I have a replacement pin, but it's too short. I can't bend it around. Or should I just try?
Yeah,
I guess
'cause-
once it's bent a bit, it's not going to go anywhere, is it?
No, and the longer one we have is not the same width. So it'd be
Yeah,
too
so
narrow.
it's a bit smaller in diameter, which means that it's not as tight a fit, and each time this turns, it's going to go tick, 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 and it'll weaken it even more. Got it bent a little bit. Maybe it's enough.
So you're done now, you just have to put it back together.
Mm-hmm.
Nice work!
Which way does this go? This way? Do you like that?
I don't know, I would check the picture if I were you.
Ah, so boring. And this on top. Boom.
Yay! Okay, we got the autopilot reinstalled. It was a bit exciting, wasn't it, Thomas?
Yes, very exciting.
Because we had to keep stopping steering. But it's in, right?
Yes, it is.
Now we just need to see if it works, I guess. Are we going to do that now or not bother?
Before I put everything back in here.
Yeah.
Do you want me to?
I think it's wise.
Okay.
Nothing's happening. Oh! Oh! High five! Oh my goodness, that took all day.
Yeah, it did.
It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon now or something.
Hey, Tommy, can you put the sea state on 3, please?
It's like a painting. How are the dishes going?
They're pretty good. Stabbed me. She stabbed me.
One of the cooler things that happens in the middle of the night on night watch. It's like 3 a.m. right now. Sometimes I'll be sitting here and all of a sudden you hear dolphins blowing. We're kind of surrounded by them right now. It's pretty hard on the camera. That's really cool.
What's the project? What's the project? What's the project today?
Well, we broke this plastic slug the other day. We have tons of extras, so it's not a big deal. But this thread, it's so thick it's nearly string.
Okay.
We do not have thread this thick. I'm just gonna start by just taking it off. I'll gather my supplies to put it back together. So we found this slug in our spares set, and it looks like the previous owner already had it all rigged up for us. So I'm just gonna use this. It matches one that he's repaired on there, so he must have just made up two at the time he repaired that one. Not a bad idea. So we remembered that we had this, is it whipping thread? Is that what you call it? And it has that wax finish, kind of like what was already on there. And it's nice and thick. And since it's for whipping lines, like ropes, I imagine it's UV protected. Anyway, it looks pretty much exactly like what was used originally. I'm worried I didn't leave enough space between the slug and this. Like, oh, I guess that moves. That's fine then. That doesn't move. Yeah, okay, it's fine. Cool, man.
Done.
What are you doing, Tommy?
Making cookies.
Cookies! What kind of cookies?
Chocolate chip.
Nice. Classic. Today is an exciting day. We're calling it halfway day. We're gonna hit our halfway miles this afternoon, this evening probably, but we're celebrating today. It's actually a pretty slow day in the wind forecast. We're expecting it to be, we're not gonna do a ton of miles today. So it's a good day to bake cookies and do laundry, and that is the plan. We're just gonna embrace the little bit of slowness. Beautiful. I'm being lazy. We have a little bucket agitator washing machine thing that we usually use, but I just can't be bothered digging it out. So I'm using a stick and a bucket today. Did you get your clothes?
No. Sometimes I forget we're sailing.
It's gonna be really weird to be back on land and not be like our whole world moving all the time.
I just looked out and I was like, whoa, whoa, look at that.
I know, I love our boat. She's slow, but she's very comfortable.
You know what I was thinking about as well? With all that 3 little sails, there's no massive amounts of pressure on any one point. It's all evenly distributed.
That's good. Oh la la!
Oh, look at this pizza getting served like a wine bottle.
Happy halfway day, guys!
Yes!
Yes!
Pizza for dinner!
Keep doing these fantastic things and I'm like, man, we're getting spoiled. And then you say something like that, I'm like, oh yeah!
Happy halfway day! How you doing, babe?
Good.
Good. Hi, Tommy.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Well, we've just had a lovely pizza dinner, and I've been sitting here thinking about all different things, as you do on a long passage like this. I just thought I'd share some of my thoughts. We've had, I think, about 5 days of glorious trade wind sailing. The trade winds are a little lighter this year. La Nina has come to an end and we're kind of shifting into a neutral phase before what they are saying will happen is El Nino will come in later this year. So for this crossing, the trades have kind of been hovering around the 15 knots, and that's pretty light for trades. But it's great. We've enjoyed it, although it has been maybe a tidge bit slower than what I imagined this crossing would be like, but that's totally fine. We're very comfortable and happy, and we just embrace the slightly slower movement. It's all good. The other thing that has happened in the last few days, and we didn't talk about when it happened because I think we all needed to process it a little bit. The day before yesterday, we got word of a Mayday call, and this boat was in the southern trade, so quite a ways away from us, you know, over 1,000 nautical miles south of us. They were sitting down for dinner in the cockpit as we just did, and they hit a whale. And they actually, the report that we have now received, and we have more details, they actually looked over the port side of the boat and could see the whale, and it was bleeding severely. So they really hit it hard. The whale damaged the rudder enough that there was so much water coming into the boat. The boat was completely sunk in 15 minutes, and they had to abandon ship and get in a life raft. Now the ending of the story is a good one, and I think that's where I'm at now, is I've kind of processed it and been able to come to a place of peace. The outcome for these people, there was 4 crew members, 4 adults on board. They were rescued within 10 hours. The sailing community completely rallied together using satellite phones and Starlink to communicate. I think 10 boats altered course towards this boat, and the first one that got there was a catamaran and was able to rescue all 4 of them. So it was like a really happy, amazing ending. And the vessel that did sink, they were extremely well organized and prepared for an emergency, and pretty much everything went very well for them to abandon ship. That's really scary. And it's really scary to hear a story like that when you're out here. Now the peaceful part for me, that is like worst case scenario for me of what could go wrong out here, is having to abandon ship and get into a life raft with my kids. The amazing thing is the worst happened to these people, and they were okay. It is such an amazing community of people out here. We're connected with so many boats around us. Some are under 100 nautical miles away from us. Some of them we know, some of them we don't. We've just seen that they are out here, and you connect through your satellite phones just for security and safety. The sailing community is such that we would do anything for each other to help each other out. I've just watched what would be my worst nightmare come true. Everything turned out okay. As long as you are prepared, which we are. We actually got our ditch bag out again and just like looked over everything today to make sure. Just had another conversation about, you know, if that did happen. And I think it was good for the kids too, to see that things do happen, but it's okay. Like, we can manage it, we can handle it. Things have felt a little bit more monotonous today. We really haven't touched the sails much. We're just sleigh riding down with this beautiful northeast trade wind. It's about 15 knots, slowly making our way southwest towards the equator and Hiva-Oa. Our next big milestone will be the equator, and we are super stoked. I think we're about 4 or 5 days away at this point, if the wind remains as consistent as it has been. We are really happy and excited to be out here, and we'll catch you next week.